Hello and that's the Bucket of Awesomeness. My name is Phil, of course, and welcome back to my My Collection Monday series. Now, over the next couple of episodes, we're going to be taking a look at my comic book collection. And we're going to start by looking at my graded and sealed comics, and then moving on to, variant editions, first appearances, things like that. Now, we're going to start with my all-time favourite comic book that I own, which is this. My Amazing Spider-Man issue number 300. Now, if you don't know by now, I'm a massive webhead, and my favourite character of all time is Venom. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 300 is the very first appearance of Venom. I paid 50 quid for this comic book a few years ago. It's only going up in value, and I absolutely adore it. There's not much I can really say about this book in terms of, value, because I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it in my collection for, as long as I can. I really love the artwork. In fact, quite a few people have gone on to copy this style here, the 300s going across. In fact, for the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 700, they did a version of this with Doc Ock. You'll see that later. And another couple of people copied it. Spawn did it for, I think it was issue 272 or something like that. I'll put an annotation here going, and correcting myself. I quite like this book for the design, but I love the fact it's the first appearance of Venom. So I had to have it in my collection. Now, speaking of Venom, his first series by himself was Lethal Protector, and I happen to own this. Now, this is the second issue. Unfortunately, I don't own the first one graded, but I do own the very first issue separately. But when I saw this, I had to get it. It's graded 9.8, which is pretty much the highest grade. You can get 10s, but that's next to impossible. Basically, 10 means it has to fall off the production line straight into a grading. It's ridiculous. But 9.8 is as high as you can get, really, and I absolutely adore this comic book. It's my first Venom that was graded. I didn't get this graded, I bought it graded, but I want to get more. I really do, because I love Venom, and, I love looking at graded comics. People hang art on the wall, I hang this on the wall. Continuing with the graded, we've got this, My Amazing Spider-Man issue 191. Now, it's from the very first run of Spider-Man, so, it's not anything particularly rare in terms of there's no first appearances, there's no, nothing special inside it. However, it's just a really old, really cool looking comic book, and again, it's graded 9.4, so it's in really nice condition, and I love looking at it, and I've put this on the wall as well. So that, actually, the Venom one's in my cabinet now, whereas this is on my wall, and I get to look at it quite a lot, and I love looking at it. I love looking at these, pieces of art. So that's my graded and sealed comic book. So I've kept, I keep all my comic books as much as I can bagged and boarded, but I had to get a nice hardcover for my Amazing Spider-Man issue 300, purely because, to me, it's so special. Actually needs a bit of a clean. Now, continuing the theme of old comic books, I have this, which is my Amazing Spider-Man issue number 172, which is the first appearance of Rocket Man. Now, again, nothing particularly special there. Rocket Man hasn't really appeared over the past 20-30 years, really. He's done bugger all, but I really like the fact this is the first appearance. So for me, I had to have it when I saw it. Saw it going. It was relatively cheap. I got it actually with my Amazing Spider-Man issue 191. That's me being silly there. But anyway, yes, I saw this with that, and I had to have them for my collection. Now, moving on from that, that's the last of the sealed and graded ones. I'm going to move on to my signed comics. I do actually have quite a few signed. Now, this is a graphic novel, obviously, but along with this, it makes up two signed ones. This was signed by Dan Slott, so I've got to open it up and find the signature. There we go. It's Spider-Man Ends of the Earth. I actually have the one-shot that goes along with that. So you have the main run itself, and there's a one-shot that went with it, so I had to buy that, of course, to go with it. This was the first signed comic book, first signed graphic novel I owned, and it's actually in Forbidden Planet. They do sell quite a few signed variants if you can find them. They're not that expensive, so I recommend picking them up. For me, it's another cool addition because Ends of the Earth was a lovely, awesome series, and it featured the, if I can find a nice picture of it, it featured the spider armour, the Mark III. I'm going to try and find a nice image of it here. If I can't find one, I'll just put it on the screen right about now. Anyway, moving on, we move on to my New Avengers Spider-Man. Again, this was also signed by the author, by Michael J. Straczynski. I can't exactly pronounce his last name, sorry about that. However, again, this is another cool comic book. It's actually quite an interesting story as well, so I'm not, it's not one that's I've read in terms of because the Amazing Spider-Man was the previous, not the last arc, the arc before that in terms of volume, so it's not one that I've read a lot around it, but I have read this and I did enjoy it very much. Now the next one we're moving on to is one of my personal favourites of my collection, purely because it's actually a single issue that's signed. Now it's signed by the artist, and I will put the name here. I couldn't remember it for the life of me when I was looking up, doing everything for this for this episode. My brain today is not working very well. But again, I love this. It's a single issue that's signed. Again, this is on my wall. It's part of my, I treat these as pieces of art. I adore them. I love reading the comic books. When it comes to signed ones and variant editions and stuff, I get the regular version as well, so I can read it, or I get the graphic novel so I can read it, but I treat these as art and I hang them on the wall, and I absolutely love it. Now, we're going to move on to some of my other first appearances. Now, listen, I'm not going to cover everything in my collection today, but I had to cover quite a few here. The next episode will probably feature more of my variant editions and other bits and pieces. So, when it comes to first appearances, at the moment, it's this that I absolutely adore. I love Silk. Silk is one of my favourite characters of all time now, just purely because she's so badass, but she's so different. And her first appearance was in Spider-Gwen issue number 1. Now, of course, this isn't the very first issue. This is arc number 4, I believe, in terms of volume. But this was her very first appearance. And she then subsequently got her own line after that. And that's on to volume 2 now. And I have all the issues of Silk, and I absolutely adore reading her. She's just different. She's not, your laid back kind of, damsel in distress. She's actually a companion for Peter Parker, and really challenges him on a different level compared to the Mary Jane or to even Felicia Hardy's Black Cat. She just has that next level, and I love reading her. Now, this was the other thing I showed you, was my Edge of Spider-Verse issue number 2, first appearance of Gwen Stacy. Now, I own 2 of these. One that I have read when I was reading Edge of Spider-Verse, and one which is this one I've not read at all because I wanted to keep it in mint condition, purely because this comic book, when I originally bought the issue, was £3. When I went to buy the second one, it was £20. Now, these are about 35, 40. And they're just going to go up because Spider-Gwen is becoming a very popular character, and I can see why. She's a fantastic read. In fact, I do own... This is Spider-Gwen issue number 1, and now on to Radioactive Spider-Gwen. I've got every issue. Again, she's... Because in the alternate universe, where in her universe Peter Parker died, she became, and took over and became Spider-Man, well, Spider-Gwen. So in Spider-Verse, they kind of came together, and now you have Spider-Man and you have Spider-Gwen. Again, I love reading that. It's something very different. Because you had Spider-Girl, you've had Spider-Woman, you've had Madam Web in terms of female spider characters, but they've not really lived up to anything for me personally. But to have Spider-Gwen and to have Silk, I love them to pieces. They're just more fleshed out. I mean, I adore the characters and I love reading them. And the artwork in them is fantastic as well. Now, in terms of my first appearances, that's it for now. Next episode, we're going to be looking at my variant editions, and I think I'm just going to leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Check out the next episode. I'll leave an annotation here for when that's aired. Don't forget to check out my other episodes. Again, I'll leave annotations and links in the description below. Check out our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!